right, grade 6, we're continuing on. Our big idea continues to be that formulas can be used to determine the perimeter of polygons, the area of rectangles, and the volume of rectangular prisms. And today we are looking at the volume of rectangular prisms. What is a rectangular prism, you might say? This is a rectangular prism. It is a rectangle that is a 3D shape. So note, for volume, we are using 3D shapes. Okay, for example, here we have a centimeter cube. So it's 1 centimeter length, 1 centimeter width, and 1 centimeter height. We can use this to determine the volume of this shape. And to find volume, it's length times width times height. So in this case, our volume would be 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. And this is 1 centimeter cubed. So the volume of this cube is 1 centimeter cubed, which is exactly what we are using to fill our shapes when we are finding the volume. We are finding out how many of these little 1 centimeter cubes will fill that 3D shape. Or if we're using millimeters, it would be millimeter cubes. If we were using meters, it would be meter cubes, which would be much larger. All right, let's break down volume. So here we have a rectangular prism that is 10 centimeters long. Here we go, 10 centimeters. It is 5 centimeters wide, so it has 5 groups of 10 centimeters. And on top of it has layers. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. It is 6 centimeters high. Okay, so the length is 10 centimeters. That's one row of 10 centimeter cubes. The width is 5 centimeters, so that's 5 rows of 10, which is 50 centimeter cubes. The height is 6 centimeters, so that means you now have 6 layers of 50 centimeters. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. 300 centimeters cubed, which is the same as looking at it as 10 times 5 times 6. 10 rows of 5 is 50. 50 times 6, because there's 6 layers, is 300 centimeters cubed. And we put that little 3 there to show the cubed. Just like with area, it's centimeters cubed with the little 3 up higher. It is not with the 3 right beside it the same size. All right, so volume in cubic centimeters is the number of 1 centimeter cubes in each layer, which is our length times our width, because that gives us one flat layer, the area of one flat layer, the area of that base, times the number of layers, which is our height, times our height. So our formula can be base area times height, and base area we find by doing length times width. So generally students find this is more helpful. Volume equals length times width times height. And as before with area, in reality, the order in which you multiply doesn't matter because of the commutative property. So if you're not sure which one is the length, which one is the width, which one is the height, it really actually doesn't matter. You just need to multiply the 3 numbers together. All right, so let's take a look at this example. Okay, the volume of this rectangular prism, which is 11 centimeters long, 4 centimeters wide, and 5 centimeters high. Okay, so the volume then is length times width times height, and again put the V so that you remember that this is volume. Helps you memorize it if you write it over and over again, and remember that's the difference between grade 5 and grade 6 volume, knowing the formula. So write down the formula. So in our calculator, and here you're definitely going to want to use your calculator to avoid errors because these are probably going to be larger numbers because you're multiplying 3 numbers. Volume equals length times width times height. So 11 times 4 times 5 punched into your calculator is going to be 220 centimeters cubed. Must have the units cubed. And again, if we were actually to type it into our calculator as 5 times 4 times 11, wouldn't matter. We would still end up with 220 centimeters cubed. Now you get to do some practice. Again, with your practice, please remember to write the formula, show the work, and show the answer. So not just like the sheet shows you right now, or this page or this screen shows you right now with just the answer written down. I need to, as always, see the formula, the work, and the answer, including the units. So go ahead and press pause and do these now on your paper. All right, so let's take a look. We have our first rectangular prism, and again we need our formula. So for 1, volume equals length times width times height. So we're going to go our length, which is 6, our longest side, our width, which is 2, and our height, which is 4. Again, does it really matter if you've got these in the right order? Really? No, it doesn't. And we multiply those. This one we probably don't need to use a calculator for. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. You're welcome to use a calculator if you need to. It is meters and meters cubed, because we are finding out how many meter cubes that are a meter long on each side, that would fit into that shape. Whew, that'd be a big shape. All right, the next one, which is actually number 5 here. formula. Volume equals length times width times height. Helps me memorize it if I write it over again. That's the difference between grade 5 and grade 6. Length is 10 times width is 5 times height is 7. Again, really doesn't matter if you do those out of order. That's just fine. And we might be able to do this mentally. We might need to use our calculator. 10 times 5, well, annexing 0, I know that 1 times 5 is 5. Add the 0 is 50. 50 times 7, I can annex 0 again. 5 times 7 is 35, and I'm adding on that 0, 350 centimeters now, cubed. All right, let's take a look at our next one. It's number 9 actually, but that's okay. Again, volume equals length times width times height. Our volume then is, our length is 9, our width is 9, and our height is 10. But again, our order really doesn't matter. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 times 10, annexing 0. 81 times 1 is 81. Add that 0 on, 810 meters. Ooh, almost did centimeters. Meters cubed. Be aware of the units that are on your shape. So 810 centimeters cubed. All right, looking at our second row of shapes. Number 2 is the one we're looking at right now. Volume equals length times width times height, because I want that formula. Volume then equals 3 times 4 times 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 9, that one I don't know in my head, is 108. And it's meters cubed. All right, looking at number 6, our second one in the second row. Again, volume equals length times width times height. So then I am 1 times 7 times 7. Not too bad. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So 49 millimeters cubed for our second one in that row. Last one that we are practicing with, number 10. Volume again, length times width times height. Repeating it over and over should help you memorize these formulas. Volume then equals 9 times 10 times 6. So 9 times 10 is 90. 90 times 6, I can use annexing 0 to help me with this. 9 times 6 is 54. I'd add on that 0, 540 meters cubed. And again, if you need to use your calculator, you are more than welcome to use your calculator. And it would be probably a good idea to, even if you do it mentally, maybe check it with your calculator afterwards to ensure that you have done it correctly. If your numbers get quite a bit larger and there's not some annexing of zeros involved, calculator is probably advisable at that point as well. All right, now it's your turn to practice the skill of finding volume with your concept practice. You are working on page 237 and 238, numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. As always with our measurement unit, you need to include the formula, the work, the answer, with the correct units. So be sure that you have done all of those parts for each question when necessary. And of course, for those of you that continue to forget your textbooks, if you've had that situation, here are your questions for 1 and 2. Notice number 2 asks you to estimate and then calculate. We'll need to see that estimation work. Here's questions 3 and 4, 5 to 7, question 8, and the reflect prompt. Remember, if at any point you are struggling and you need some help, please remember to ask for that help. Ask myself, ask any other adult that we happen to have in the classroom, ask a class member, ask a parent if you're at home. Make sure that you ask questions if you are unclear.